Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Now today I'm going to be talking about the North American teams the circle points from last season. I'll be basically giving an update of what changes they have made. Obviously if you see my very messy EMEA video and you would just want to watch that, you can watch that if you want to. I'll leave a link in the description below. So North America standings, huh? It's going to be a quick, easy one because obviously there are less teams than the EMEA one. There's not like 1,500 teams. There's just 14 teams. So first off, with with the top two, Sentinels, Team Envy have not made any changes. Sentinels would be keeping Tens, Shazam, Sick, Zoms, and Dapper, and Rox as a coach. Team Envy will be keeping FNS, Marv, Crashies, Victor, and Yay and Shet as the coach. First team we're going to be looking at is 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves recently announced their roster. They've kept Hiko, Asuna, and Ethan. It's actually quite interesting that Hiko will be the new IGL. And they've added Baby J, formerly from Faze Clan, and Eccles, formerly from Ninjas and Pajamas. Obviously, leave saw my European video. I talked about Ninjas and Pajamas as they move over to Brazil, and I talked about their former roster as Eccles was a part of as their IGL. Pretty surprised that Hiko has actually taken up the IGL for this team. They've also got a new coach of Jovi and Rocket as the assistant coach. They got rid of, Steel, Nitro, and Seven still went to T1 as an IGL. Nitro has retired to go to CS:GO to play for Team Liquid, and Seven has joined Steel at T1. So currently, as like I say about Team One, they're an average team, maybe probably a bit better from last season, but I still think they're not up there to compete against like the 100 Thieves, the C9, Team Envy, Sentinels, all those teams. So there's 100 Thieves done. I guess I should actually maybe talk about Cloud9 because obviously Sentinels, Envy, 100 Thieves, and Cloud9 are the four teams who will be automatically in North America challenges. So I guess we'll talk about C9. They have not made any changes during the off-season. They've kept this core roster, Mitch, Leaf, Zeta, Zephyr, and Vanity, and Autumn and James IRL as the coaches. No changes there. Pretty happy about that, I'll be honest, because they are they were the only North American team to advance into the playoffs and champions, so I would expect that C9 would not change anything. First, we're now going to V1, and V1 recently played in the Valor Rampage tournament, and let's just say they lost to C9 2-0. As their roster, Effie's, Penny, Zella's, Whippy will be staying with the team, and there's been a lot of changes in that fifth player. Ever since Vanity left, there's been a lot of changes. They first had Odorous, that didn't really work out. He's now gone over to Andbox to be the IGL, and they've now added Xander. Xander used to be from Saw, which is a tier 2 team. They have actually done a decent. Saw obviously that they had teams on some of their players, mainly Xander Crycells. They had big buyouts, like maybe in the six-figure, seven-figure range. It was a pretty big buyout. I don't really want to be too over dramatic, but it was a big buyout for to get these players, but V1 sucked it up and they've gotten Xander to be in their roster as the new IGL. They'll be having Imi. I think that's his name, or I think Imi as their coach. Pretty good roster. I wouldn't say the best, but pretty good. It's a decent roster currently. Next up it is good old Faze Clan. Let's just say they're still looking for a roster, even though it's kind of been leaked and rumored and all that other stuff of what their new roster is going to be. So with Baby Bay as their only player surviving from the snapping, they will be adding Larry Banks, Fleur, Dicey, and Shut Up. Shut Up formerly from 100 Thieves, Dicey formerly known from 100 Thieves. Flaw and Larry Banks, I cannot remember. I know Flaw, I think, was in a tier 2 team. Larry Banks, I have no clue where he came from. But apparently that's going to be the roster for Faze Clan. I might be completely wrong. These are just rumors. But that is what, you know, I've been seeing on Twitter mainly. Zachary and Marv is still inactive. Marv is still on loan from Team Envy. I'm waiting for them just buy out his contracts just so he'll be in Team Envy forever. I don't know why the hell he's still on loan from Faze, but it's interesting. Corey, so Corey has joined TSM. I'll get to TSM soon. As I mean soon, I mean later. Rocket, Sentinels, and then Baby J and 200 Thieves. So that's, yeah. And then and obviously they added JDM as a head coach and Trippy as their assistant coach, even though he was with the team for like since the very beginning, I think. So, but that's Faze Clan all done. Don't expect a lot from them. They're just going to be average. Xset. So this is where Cryocells is at, as he's joined joined Xset to be their duelist player to replace no, not Aaron, Pura. Pura, that's the one. Pura. He's going to be the new player for Xset. Death will continue to be the IGL. They've obviously kept the other four or the other three as well: Avrin, BCJ, and Zekin. And they'll be also keeping Psycho and T as the coach as well. So not a lot of changes here, but it's pretty neat to see Cryocells in a top tier team. Xset is a fantastic team and pretty exciting one as well. Let's see if they can continue their upwards trajectory from last season when they were in the LCQ, where they came pretty close of actually no, that was Rise who came in extremely close of winning. But they were still definitely up there either way. Next one, it is Luminosity Gaming. They've added 2 new players and they got rid of Oproto and Yaboy Dre. Both of those players are rumored to be joining the CSGO. The Valorant Evil Geniuses team. So I can't remember who's actually on the team, but Yaboy Dre and Oproto will both be joining that team. As to replace those 2 in Luminosity, they'll be able to keep in Moose, Dazzle, and Tig. They've added Mada and B-Dog. Mada formerly from Andbox and B-Dog formerly from TSM Academy. They'll be also keeping the coach of Mac as well. Not a lot of changes. I mean, they did win in the NSG Winter Champion Open. Like, Championship Open 12. Doesn't really mean much, I'll be honest. It's just, you know, I mean, it's also pretty good for them to also practice with their new team, and they probably feel a little more comfortable now, which is great. So, but I'm not expecting a lot from Luminosity. Gen G Esports have also made one change. They've kept the core 4 players of GMD, Sean, Kusta, and Nature. Mikhail is still inactive for some reason, but they've added Rhyme to basically replace Mikhail. Or yeah, so there'll be another European import from Europe to NA, because the buyouts in North America are just extremely expensive, so it's just cheaper to get European talent. That's why you also saw Eccles in 100 Thieves, because it's just cheaper. It's just cheaper just to get him. And Rhyme as well in Gen G. I think he might. I know Eccles has most likely gotten his visa. I don't know about Ryan though. I think Ryan might have gotten his visa already because he was announced late. I mean, like legit, like a couple days before Christmas. So he definitely had a lot of time to get his visa and everything, just so he can move over to America. They'll be also keeping that coach in Elmer Putty, who I think is currently right now on his way to NA. But I might be wrong, because I saw something on Twitter about it. But I'm not expecting a lot from Gen G, I'll be honest. I'm really not. Rise. Now, this team has been in a cesspool and in the shitfest of controversy. All these 5 players want to leave, obviously, as they want to pursue other, staff and everything. Actually, other teams, they want to obviously, try out different teams, contracts and everything. But the contract says no, you're not allowed to, because the buyout is massive. and they're basically in contract jail. Obviously, all these players have been basically tweeting out stuff and like I'm in contract jail, which had a lawyer, all that other stuff, blah 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 blah. And yeah, so it's not a really good look for Rise if this is true, but that's what I obviously saw, especially on social media with George Geddes as well and Bodoc, if I remember correctly. I know George Geddes was definitely in there. I don't know about Bodoc though. They probably, I think also Purist as well. All these five players, including the coach of Anger, there's rumors that these guys might be leaving the team as a whole to be picked up by another organization. Why? Because, I mean, one, contract jail, and two, they want to stick together. Faze Clan approached four of the five players. Shanks was the only one who didn't get picked up. Well, wasn't asked by Faze Clan to join them. All those four, all the rest, Neptune, Poise, Derek, and Superman, all said no. Every one of them said no, just so they can stay with Shanks, which is an absolute bro move. It's actually very touchy. Anger is obviously still the coach, and expect them to probably go to a different org at some point. Everyone's favorite team, TSM. Even though Reginald is currently being looked at by Riot as a bit of a bully. We'll see if those actually could be true at some point. They have now finally announced a roster. They'll be keeping Wardell, Sub-Rosa, and Leviathan. And they've added Corey and Rossi as the IGL. So Rossi will be the new IGL for the team. It used to be Cutler and Hayes. Well, first Hayes, then Cutler. No, Cutler, then Hayes. I don't know. It was something. But they've now added Rossi and Corey into the lineup. It's pretty decent. I mean, I don't expect a lot from them, I'll be honest, but decent. I think there's also rumors that Jerome will be out of being inactive and will be a free agent. Bang has been playing with the BBG guys, so possibly he may be joining BBG or maybe be with another team. I mean, in the Valorant Rampage tournament, I was legit watching the BBG match, and Bang and Boy were both playing. It's probably because also Trill. I still didn't know them, but now Saw. I was talking about Saw. I was thinking about Saw. Feck. I was about to say Trill couldn't play with them, but I realized Trill has played with them. I think in Australian ping, and he's actually joining Saw, not BBG. But I digress. Either way, decent roster, and the coaches, decent as well. A Rubies and Apex, formerly from TSM Academy, they've been promoted into the main roster. See how they go. Just like I said, about most of these teams, I'm not expecting a lot from TSM as well. They're probably going to maybe surprise me. Maybe they can work something around about Wardell and Corey. We'll just have to see though. NRG, the team who is still somehow in the Valorant Rampage after, I think, almost getting beaten by BBG, I think it was. But this team, some EU, Android, Tex, Hayes, that's basically confirmed of what this roster is going to be. They obviously they added Hayes into the lineup before Champions, so it's not really like an off-season move, but still, that's what the roster looks like. And Josh RT will continue to be the head coach. Just like I said, the probably could be a mid-pack team again. I'll be straight honest. Andbox, they've kept Vice and Mame, and they've added the rest of the IGO, just like I mentioned earlier from V1. But they've added Lear and Jonah 6 as the players who round out the roster. I don't even know what to say about Andbox. They've been always, ever since their amazing performance, I think in the NSGX Renegades Invitational, they've been going downhill. I have not seen anything from this team, I'll be honest. Just nothing. I think also ever since this one, the North American Stage 2 challenges to nothing. I've not seen anything from them. They've just been always declining. So yeah, it's just unlucky there for Ironbox, but it's just a fact. They're just I don't know. I don't think they're going to do well this season. And then finally, let's go to Immortals. Now, Shot Up is the only player in Immortals, even though he's probably going to be leaving to go to Faze Clan. Gangster has joined Knights, Jonah P has joined the Guard, Rossi should be TSM there. Emil Shen, the Azerbaijani, I probably messed that up, player for trial has also left. And yeah, so they basically blown out the roster. And Packington is still the head coach. Don't expect that to happen as they're going to be now focusing on their Brazilian roster of MIBR. Obviously owned by Immortals. This is their roster. Gettinson, Texi 1, MNDS, Sonaro, and JZZ. Or I don't know how you actually say his name. I'm never going to like, even attempt it. But they have been decent. They've actually looked pretty good. They came third through fourth. They got beat out by Pancanda y Amigos, which is basically going to be the loud roster. But that's what's going to be the Brazilian super team. Because obviously Brazil, let's just say they didn't really do well last season. They were a bit of a joke. Let's just say that. I'm sorry, Brazilian fans, but luckily you guys, especially with MIBR, Ninjas in Pajamas, and Loud, you guys definitely have a massive chance of actually maybe even contention of winning Masters or even Champions. I don't know. Probably not Champions, but maybe Masters. I don't know. As DK is also the coach as well. This is going to be basically the Immortals team for Brazil. So the North American Immortals not going to be a thing anymore. But that is all for North America. Wow, look at that. So next one will be Brazil. I don't know. I'll somehow how to do that, but yeah. So that's really for me now. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Catch you guys on next time in the next one. Goodbye.